Hey guys, our devotion today is from Genesis chapter 19. Today we're looking at the story of the judgment of Sodom and Gomorrah. We're also praying for Daniel, Liana, and Raylan Sorrells, prayer for them. I would imagine this is a familiar story, not really a pleasant one to read. We see this sinful city of Sodom and Gomorrah that Lot is in. Remember in the last chapter we had Abraham seeking for God's mercy and his for him not to carry out his wrath on Sodom and Gomorrah, and it came down to, are there righteous people there? Well, it ends up that because of what Abraham was asking, God does decide to deliver Lot and his family. We see this disturbing scene. It really gives us some insight into how far these people had fallen from God. Just the sinfulness of their hearts, as you know, these angels come in. Of course, the angels aren't in any danger. They're not worried about what these people, these men, want to do to them. But it's like the whole town of men, young and old, gather together and want to commit sinful acts, sexual acts with these angels. It's not a pleasant scene, but it gives us an idea of just how far they have fallen. You have to wonder, I mean, why is Lot and his family living amongst these people? I don't know, maybe they wanted to stay there to be a light amongst them. Maybe they didn't have a choice. Maybe it was just, it wasn't a possibility for them to get out of it. But they get warned by the angels to get out of there. We see that even Lot, he doesn't quite wrap his head around the judgment of God that's coming, and he hesitates. But because of God's mercy, the angels are just basically drag them out of there. Of course, we know that Lot's wife looks back and faces judgment because of that. They go to a nearby town. It's an interesting chapter, and it touches on one of those reoccurring themes throughout the whole Bible of God's judgment on sin and his final judgment when he is patiently waiting. He's patiently calling back. But, you know, it's gotten to this point where Sodom, Gomorrah, and these surrounding villages and towns in this area, they've run out of God's patience. And God carries out his judgment on this place, and it is complete. I mean, it just wipes the area clean, and it is fast. One of the things that we've been studying in our Tuesday morning Bible study is about God's final judgment. And it's very similar to the judgment that we see here. It's quick, it's fast when it talks about God judging Babylon and judging the ungodliness and the sexually perverse nature of the world and the things that have just drug men down into sin. God judges that, and it says it's like, it comes in like an hour. The judgment is done, and then there's nothing left but the smoke coming up. In Matthew chapter 10, when Jesus is sending the disciples out, he says there's going to be places, there's going to be households, there's going to be cities that reject you. And one of the interesting things is, he says, it will be more bearable for Sodom and Gomorrah than it will be for those places that reject you, because they're rejecting me when the final judgment day comes. And that really gives us a picture of what that judgment day is going to be like. It's going to be even worse than what happened at Sodom and Gomorrah. And Sodom and Gomorrah was completely wiped out and had this kind of curse on it where it wouldn't be inhabited any longer. That's pointing us forward. And that should, I guess, maybe help us to be sober-minded. We know what's coming. It should burden our hearts for the lost. It should change the way we go about everyday life, realizing that Judgment Day is coming, and it's going to come quick, and the sins of the world are going to be judged. So anyways, I think it's an extremely important passage, and gives us a good mindset for the day. If God spoke something to you today through this passage, revealed something to you, share it with us on Facebook, share it with us on YouTube.